Okay, good evening, everyone, fellow engineers. You are all welcome to our first technical talk of the Water, Environment and Sanitation Subgroup of Civil Engineering Division, Ghana Institution of Engineering. My name is Engineer Kojo Jesse, and I'm the Secretary of the Water, Environment and Sanitation Subgroup. Our chair, Dr. Engineer Berta Date, is having some challenges in trying to connect. So in order not to waste much time, she's advised that we should get the presentation going, and then when she connects, she would give her remarks and opening statements. We won't be opening statements by then, but she'll provide her remarks and some activities and plans that we have and anything concerning our subgroup. So for our session this evening, we have Engineer Dzifa Agbefu from the IWMI, which is International Water Management Institute Innovation Hub. Dzifa leads the setup and operation of the Circular Bioeconomy Innovation Hub. With a civil and environmental sanitation background, she specializes in circular economy, business, and financial development models, sustainable waste infrastructure design, and innovation systems setup. She is adept at translating research results into actionable plans whilst rallying the support of diverse stakeholders. So we will call on Engineer Dzifa to start her presentation. Dzifa, you have 30 minutes to share with us the wonderful work you are doing, after which we would open for some discussions and questions. So thank you very much, Dzifa. Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Engineer Kojo. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all well. I'm very happy to be here to share with you what we are doing with the Circular Bioeconomy Innovation Hub and the role you can play from your various expertise. I hope I'm very audible and my screen is very clear. So I'll get right into the presentation. My presentation is going to look at Advancing Circular Bioeconomy in Ghana, the IWMI-Led Innovation Hub for Scalable Impact. I will start. Okay. Yes. So I'll first by you through what circular economy and circular bioeconomy is, its linkage to waste management, and I will narrow in on the state of circular bioeconomy implementation in Ghana, the challenges we are facing, and the reasons why we are facing those challenges. Then I will look at the solution the Circular Bioeconomy Innovation Hub is presenting. I'll look at the operational framework of the hub, how we are working the talk. And I will conclude with highlighting various engagement roles, opportunities for engaging the hub, the functions we can play in implementing circular bioeconomy concepts in Ghana and within the region. So we go to the first section. We would like to understand circular economy and circular bioeconomy within the context of waste management. This has become a very common knowledge now. We are facing global unprecedented change. There's a lot of complex interrelated environmental challenges, mainly stemming from population growth, increase in waste, consumption, exceeding production, demand exceeding production, climate-related issues, and several other environmental issues. The discussion has been that traditional linear economy, which is you take, you make, and then you dispose. So you take in, you consume, we take from the finite resources you consume and then dispose has been unsustainable. It couples economic growth with resource flows and resource availability, which is very, very dangerous for sustainable future. Circular economy models have long been mentioned. I know most of you in the room have heard about circular economy systems, circular economy models as the way to go. If you want to overcome some of the complex environmental challenges that population growth is posing, we want to decouple resource use from this demand, then circular economy is one of the ways to go. So it is an alternative that use cycles such as reuse, refurbishment, remanufacturing, and recycling to promote sustainable use. If you talk of circular economy, we are trying to emphasize on prolonging the life cycle of materials and products through various strategies that retain their value within the earth systems. So if you look at it, a broader sense of circular economy and system, Ellen MacArthur, one of the pioneering institutions, Ellen MacArthur Foundation, defined circular economy systems with two cycles, and this is what is shown in this diagram here. We have the technical cycle, and the biological cycle. So I will take a close look at both cycles and explain to you where the circular bioeconomy lies. So if you look at the technical cycle, we start with production from finite resources, which is here. So mainly from fossil-based production, a finite resource. We go through the cycle of production. So from product manufacturing, service provider to a user consumption, user consumption. Now, a circular economy at the stage of user, we promote the principles of sharing so that we can elongate the use of the material in the system. Another one too that we promote is the maintain or prolong the products or whatever is at the end use for the user. So you want to maintain and prolong it. So if it is some repairs you can do to it, if it is using it wisely, not to destroy it, then you're promoting circularity. Another principle we promote in circular economy under the technical cycle is reuse and redistribute. So if there is a resource, material, a product that can be reused and redistributed, and you're able to implement that principle through the manufacturing system, then you're able to maintain circular economy. And the final principle is remanufacture and refurnish, so recycling. So at the stage of end of life, we have to explore for further value in the system to recycle. So if you take PET bottles, plastic bottles, paper, products, and we are able to recycle, use them as secondary raw materials, then we are able to feed the ecosystem back to the manufacturing stage to the user stage. Then we have a technical cycle. What is key in the technical cycle is to know that it is mainly powered by finite materials. So our foundational feedstock sources are from finite materials, mainly fossil-based material. Then if you look at the biological system, we are looking at a bio-based system. So the system is powered by renewable energy, renewable sources, biomass that goes into production for consumption. So here we are looking at bio-based consumption. So if you are producing agricultural activities, you have bio-based use at this stage. Then at the use stage, you can have multiple stages of use of the material. So we call it the cascading principle. So for instance, if you take wood For example, you can use wood to make a table, you can use it to make several other things, and you can also mulch wood to put into a composting system. That is something that you call the cascading use, multiple stages of use. Then within the biocycle, we have waste being used for anaerobic digestion, and from anaerobic digestion you can get two products, which is the biogas and composting, which goes into regeneration for food systems, so for soil health, plant growth, and mainly into the food system for regenerative use. And then we through the regenerative use, you're able to produce consumables in the form of food that goes back in the form of food, and then biomass that goes back into the cycle, so we can extract renewable energy from biomass and then power the system. So if you look at it carefully, the main source of energy for the biocycle is renewable. The main foundational material is biomass for the biocycle. So if you look at the system holistically like this, we call it the circular economy system. If you focus on the biological cycle, then we are dealing with circular bioeconomy system. I know that in literature, there are some contention about where to put the circular bioeconomy, whether it is a part of the circular economy system, it is outside it, or it is an overarching figure. That is a discussion in literature, but for our discussion today, we are considering it as a part of the circular economy system, a subset of a circular economy system as defined by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So with this definition and explanation, we can define circular bioeconomy as a sustainable, regenerative use of biomass and biological processes in a closed-loop system that minimizes waste, promotes reuse, and restore natural systems. So if you hear circular bioeconomy, we are existing in the biological cycle, the biomass stream, the biomass stream. So if you think of it, even in the context of waste management, then we are thinking of circular bioeconomy for waste management as the organic waste stream. Throw more light on the concept of circular bioeconomy, circular economy in waste management. Typically, when you say waste management, you are talking about liquid and solid waste management. So we have generation at household level, manufacturing level, and it goes through a storage. And so you store our waste in bins or in septic tanks, in holding chambers, and from storage, the transportation can also be by, aside being vehicle, it can also be by a centralized sewer system. And then from transportation, we go into disposal, landfilling, or treatment for our waste service chain. Now, if you insert circular bioeconomy or circular economy in this linear way of doing things, then you are going to look at something like this. So at the manufacturing stage, you are already looking at, because we are talking with the context of circular economy and circular bioeconomy, at the manufacturing stage, you're already looking at eco-design, production, remanufacturing, refurbishment, and all of that. So through distribution, we're able to reuse and repair. So the amount of waste happening for treatment, disposal, or what means we want to employ in the circularity framework is severely reduced. So the waste here we collect and then we sort. So there is a source separation component at the collection stage of the waste generated. So depending on the various components, we can have some minimal amount of waste that is going to residual waste for final disposal. We can have organic waste coming back into the system where we can extract material, energy, apply it back into the manufacturing system. And we can also have some other materials that can go into secondary recovered materials. And at the recovery material reuse stage, the feedstock that can also feed the system here is a natural resources. So the primary raw materials are natural resource materials. We are not looking at fossil fuel into the system. So if you look at it within the context of waste management, we can employ both circular economy and circular bioeconomy principles here, depending on the type of feedstock you are targeting. So if you are looking at the plastics, the metals, the e-waste, then you are looking at the technical cycle. If you are looking at organic waste, then you are looking at the circular bioeconomy, so the biological cycle, which we are calling circular bioeconomy. Yes, so this is the role, what it does in circular, in waste management. And so you want to know why it's important. So if you see the previous slide, what I highlighted, overall, we're able to reduce environmental and public health burdens. So the amount of methane gas that will be produced to contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change impacts is reduced because we've taken organic waste off landfill sites or off disposal sites. Generally, we are also able to take plastic waste off disposal sites to reuse and prolong the life cycle of treatment facilities. Also, we are able to create local circular economies. So able to through implementing circular economy, circular bioeconomy for sustainable waste management, we are able to set up decentralized facility. So if you are doing the principle of circular bioeconomy is really done well at a decentralized stage. And with decentralized facilities, we're able to explore, have innovation, and bring in new perspectives to enhance resource recovery. You're able to create jobs. You're able to make economic gains in the local cycle. So the product you produce, you would sell. The feedstock you are taking, you probably buy it. So you're able to contribute to your local economy. And then we're also able to have an integrated resource recovery infrastructure. So we just don't have the landfill, but if you have a facility, it's able to respond to multiple resource recovery needs. And then we're able to support our climate and sustainability goals. But the focus for this discussion today is mainly on circular bioeconomy waste management. And the question will be, why are we focusing on circular bioeconomy waste management? Averagely, largely, the kind of waste, the characteristics of waste we produce in Ghana has majority components being organic waste. So we have a lot of organic waste in our municipal solid waste stream. But if you look at all the circular economy efforts that has been put in place, it's mainly on plastics, e-waste, textiles, or other advocacies for circularity. The spotlight for resource recovery for organic waste is not that much, it's not that huge in the sector. So, but if you look at the amount of waste we have in our stream that belongs to the organic waste component, it is huge and it needs to be given some relevant attention if you want to make a headway in our circularity efforts as a country. So we threw a bit more spotlights on circular bioeconomy by focusing on it and understanding what has been done in the sector and what we can do to advance and promote it. So I will highlight what we have done in Ghana for circular bioeconomy implementation so far. So far, for circular bioeconomy, we have various actors that have done a lot of work, especially when it comes to the efforts in composting, core composting technology. Years ago, there are several treatment plants that has been built, except you don't see it now because most of them have failed in the past. We have also seen some attempts at waste to energy infrastructure. When I say energy here, we are looking at biogas, and we're also looking at biofuels. So briquettes, biomass sources, briquettes, carbonized and non-carbonized briquettes. a lot has been done. If in fact, if you quantify the amount of investment that has been made in the sector, when it comes to even the composting, co-composting sector alone, it's very huge. But if you look back and assessment or take stock, the the investments we have done is not translating into increased outcomes. If you count our success story when it comes to circular bioeconomy is very low. We our implementation rate is lower, and they have short-term sustainability. So a lot of composting plants has been done. Even my institute has done a lot of work on composting, starting from Kumasi and all. But all these facilities are not there. We have a lot of private entities that have started work in circular bioeconomy, but with time they collapse. I don't think we have some plants that have lasted more than 15 years. They have very short-term sustainability. In the beginning, there's a lot of momentum, but then with time, they just vanish and nobody talks about it again. So you want to ask yourself, what is causing this when it comes to our circular bioeconomy space? Why are we seeing this low progress? The amount of money we are putting in, we don't see the amount of impacts on the ground. I classify the causes into two categories. The one you see in orange at the moment is the screaming out loud category. So this is something that these are the causes that we all know. We are all aware there is policy and regulatory gaps. There is limited knowledge and capacity, or even capacity retention. So there are some people who have received capacity in this system over time, but have not been able to, SMEs have not been able to retain this capacity to ensure application of skills gained for growth. This has been very low and limited in the sector. There is low business model uptake and replication. And the question is why? Why are we doing all these systems, but the uptake and replication is very low or non-existent? We have huge technological bottlenecks. So in terms of, to we engineers, are we still designing for treatment, or we are designing for reuse? Where are the technological bottlenecks? Is it process? Is it infrastructure? What is it? We haven't caught up to the technological bottlenecks when it comes to circular bioeconomy innovation implementation. There are a lot more that I know. There are several practitioners on this platform who are already aware. Now, the low the low but dangerous causes is what is in green here. This orange ones, when we discuss it, it is big. It looks like it will take a lot of time, but let us try and do the little progress we can do in the sector. But the little progress we are doing and trying to do in the sector is heavily undermined by this section in green. So there is very limited knowledge sharing. I have seen systems where there has been a circular bioeconomy resource recovery system in place that have been constructed not long ago, and they are implementing the same process technology, the same principles that failed some few years back. And I will wonder why are we doing the same thing that was done some years back? Are we not aware? Don't we know? Where is the gap? How come we don't know? There are times some of our projects, they lack strong scientific evidence. So there are some projects that they'll say, okay, let's treat waste. Let's collect municipal solid waste. The plastics will go here. The organic, what will happen to it? Okay, let's do compost. And then we put a composting facility and we try to do something, do composting. After that, after we are done putting the facility, then we now realize that, okay, this composting facility it's too far from the feedstock. We can't continue to collect the feedstock. If it's not too far, where the farmers will need it is so far. How do we offset transportation costs? Okay, the technology for it is too slow. It's a bottleneck. So there's a lot of afterthoughts in our implementation. We are not applying the science in the innovation, the science in the circular bioeconomy. We are not applying it to our innovation development. Even for the business model, we will say we want to do a resource recovery business model, you are doing, let's say briquettes, biofuels. But if you look at the business model, your only source of revenue is selling of the products. But if you look at it in the holistic context of circular bioeconomy, if you look at the benefits, there are gains in climate that we can look at assessing some of the green financing instruments on the international market to support our implementation. But we don't design with that in mind. So you see the business model, and the business is struggling because it's just one revenue stream. We are selling compost. Meanwhile, we have a lot of natural capital in implementation, and we don't take advantage of it. There's a lot of siloed working, so we don't see what somebody has done, what somebody is doing, to not repeat what has already been done. And there's a lack of general coordination to know what is going on, to know that, okay, this project has made this head gain. Let me not go back and do the same thing. Let me just build on it. So we are not building on efforts. This is there. It's the big elephant that we all know. But this is the cancer creeping in on us. That is really demoralizing our little progress we are trying to make in the sector, in spite of all the challenges that we have. And you say some of these effects, you see some redundant errors. So there are errors people have made that you shouldn't be making, but you make it because we are not sharing knowledge. There's duplicated efforts. Our solutions are not well aligned to the actual needs in the system. So this is where we present the hub as a sustainable solution. So what is the hub? What is its role in fixing some of the challenges I've mentioned, whilst we strengthen our system to resolve the big elephants in our sector. So for the circular bioeconomy innovation hub, we have 16 diverse stakeholders that have united for accelerated progress. So it is a multi-stakeholder platform serving as a one-stop shop for training, applied research, advisory support, and knowledge sharing. So we have this bowl of activities that is the hub, that when you access this bowl, you have access to applied training, applied research, support from implementers on the ground, and knowledge sharing activities. In the hub, we have two levels of partnerships. So we have our first level of partnership that we call our partners co-owners. So the co-owners are institutions that have jointly developed a strategy. We have defined our work plans together, and we are sharing resources for a shared impact. So there's a lot of commitment in here. There's a lot of working togetherness within the co-owners and framework. And the institutions, we have them spanning from NGOs. So the NGOs, we have water and sanitation for urban populations. We have Catholic Relief Services. We have Engineers Without Borders, KNUST, as our anchoring NGOs. We also have some private sector implementers who are implementing circular bioeconomy on the ground at a commercial scale. So we have Trimark Aquaculture Center, we have Jekura Ventures Limited, we have MDF West Africa, we have Clinton Ghana, Safisana, and then the Center for Enterprise Learning. And for the research institutions, we have International Water Management Institute, where I work. We have the Regional Center for Energy and Environmental Sustainability at UNE, University of Energy and Natural Resources. We have the Regional Water and Environmental Sanitation Center at KNUST. We have Binary Biotechnology and Nuclear Agricultural Research Institutes. We have the University of Environment and Sustainable Development, and then we have the Institute of Environmental Sanitation Studies at University of Ghana. So these are the cross-sectorial actors who come together and have agreed to jointly share their resources for a shared impact, and we call them our co-owners. We are in part by the CGIAR, Food Frontiers and Security, and the Multifunctional Landscape Initiative. Okay, I'm trying to move this. Okay, it's not moving. And we have the second level of partners, which we call the scaling partners. So these are institutions that have a larger mandate than our co-owners here. So they are mainly collaborators with the hub. These are mainly public institutions that are well positioned to scale at national or even institutions that are able to scale at regional level. So we have Ministry of Food and Agriculture, we have MES, Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, we have now Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. So we work with the Sanitation Directorate in that ministry. We have the Hunger Project, and we have Sendolos, the Ghana Education Service that does distance learning training through their virtual platforms. So they produce most of the teaching initiatives on your TV and all of that. So these are the stakeholders involved in the Circular Bioeconomy Innovation Hub. Together, we have a strategic operational framework within which the hub works. So we have a capacity building initiative that focuses on training value chain actors, from public sector entity to private to youth to individual entities. And we look at also training for adaptive scaling. So we are looking at SMEs who want to adapt and scale with circular bioeconomy concepts. We're also looking at institutions within the wash sector that needs to apply circular bioeconomy principles to make their projects more sustainable and lasting. And we also have the resource recovery and reuse program for schools and youth. So we are targeting mindset shifts for school children. And we are also looking at youth developments by introducing them to circular bioeconomy innovations and to see how far they can carry it to innovate. So these three programs fall under our capacity building activities. We also have our research for innovation and scaling. So we have our applied research program where research can be done at facilities we call living labs. I'll talk about it more for direct uptake. And we have knowledge sharing, collaboration, and partnerships. We have advisory support for policy development and uptake. So this is our strategic operational areas, all within a monitoring, evaluation, and learning framework that the hub has developed. So how does all of this, the partners, the operational framework, the scaling partners, how do they come together to drive impact to for us to have a functioning operational framework as a circular bioeconomy innovation hub? So I
Hello,
would
Dzifa.
like, yeah,
Sorry to interrupt, but you have about 10 minutes, okay? So,
yes.
all right.
Okay. So I'll highlight the operational framework. So we have the co-owners sitting at the top who are the innovation hub. And we have the co-owners contributing various resources in the form of expertise, knowledge materials, infrastructure, and financing. So financing, you have to finance your involvement in the hub. The hub is not going to, or the leading institution is not going to take resources to finance your involvement. So the hub is led and facilitated by IWMI, but we are all collectively co-owners of the hub. And we have our resources that goes into the implementation of our strategic operational frameworks. And we, from implementing our strategic operational framework, we are able to develop our scalable impacts and outputs that can be uptaken by some of the co-owners because they are also implementers on the ground and need some of these outputs to refine or optimize their operation. But at a larger scale, our scalable impact is transferred to our scaling partners who have the ability to have a wider implementation at scale. So at the national level, we are talking about the ministries who have their agencies and at other international INGOs who can do this. So it goes to the scaling partners to facilitate the at scale implementation. Then at the partners level, they're able to still collaborate with the co-owners of the hub to provide backstopping support for at-scale implementation, or other partners can also be involved for this level of implementation. So we've been doing this for the past 2 years. The conversations began in late 2023. And after 2 years of developing our operational framework, answering questions, resolving issues, we're able to put together our MOU and got our MOU signed just last month. Yes, last month. So we have our MOU in place. We have a publication about it on this link here. So how are we using the operational framework so far to turn our commitments into impact? So we have our resources, and the first resources we have is our trainers. So the co-owners have offered over 40 trainers with all this expertise to support implementation of activities within the hub. We also have resources. So the individual institutions in the hub, whatever knowledge materials they have related to circular bioeconomy, they offer it for uptake. So if you have a training and you have to use any material, we use some existing materials, or we just build on what is existing to use. And we also jointly develop materials for some of the programs we are doing. So we currently have this manual under review within the hub. We also have a resource, what we call the Living Labs concept. So these are spaces hosted by circular economy businesses that are co-owners of the hub. So the co-owners of the hub who are implementing circular bioeconomy concepts offer the hub spaces within their facility for us to do our training, our applied research, our education, learning visits, and showcasing events. We have a website and you can read more about it here. You can also book a visit to the a living lab of your choice to know more, discuss possible collaboration, understand the issues they are facing. And some of the living labs we have 6 living labs in all. And some of the they do, it's not just in Accra, but mainly Accra, Greater Accra, Eastern Region, and Ashanti Region is where our living labs are located. Some of the ongoing activities we are doing as a hub is a resource recovery and reuse program for schools and youth. So we are mainly looking to foster mindset shifts, but above all, we are looking to develop and recommend a tested replicable implementation strategy for schools in Ghana. So at the end of the day, we want to go through the cycle and recommend that if you want to do this level of implementation with schools, this is the method that works to support other institutions that want to implement similar models without having to start from scratch. The program includes we enroll a school. When we started, we selected schools given to us by GES. But now, if you want to join us at school, you have to apply to be enrolled. So we enroll a school. We do a general training, introducing the schools to the concepts of circularity. And then we provide them with bins where the entire school will practice segregation of waste. We have a backstop of Engineers Without Borders KNUST as volunteers that we train. They come on board to provide that backstopping support to the schools. The schools also form clubs, where in the clubs they're able to do innovation activity. So some of the innovation activities, we make them do the full cycle, so from circular economy to circular bioeconomy. So you see the schools, they do, every school in the program is doing composting from their school feeding canteens, and they are going to use it for edible landscape, mobile gardens, that they're able to take vegetables back into their feeding. They also have other innovations with plastic, paper, and other components of waste. Another program that we run is the research for innovation and scaling. So we are currently developing our applied research program. It first began with a peer-to-peer learning event. So we did that last year, where we visited facilities on the ground to understand and identify the challenging reality. So for every reality, every challenge that you say, we have a case study that we have seen, we have assessed that we can apply to that challenging reality. And with that, we have developed applied research areas, several of them. That's the research institutions in our in their co-owners or even external partners can also uptake and research, and they're already mapped to a living lab. So if you do it, it's going to resolve an issue they are having to optimize their process and even lead to innovation with some of the research areas. Another thing that we do is we provide training. So if you reach out to the hub, we provide training to stakeholders. One we did last year was training with the C40 cities facility and then AMA. We did a training for them to be able to support them in their program implementation and project development with the C40s initiative. So you would say that all that I've said, how can you get involved? How can you engage with the hub? This is what the hub does, and this is how you can get involved. So if you are developing a project and you need some level of advice in project development and implementation, based on all the lessons we've learned, there's value in the practitioners, what they have done and the lessons they've learned. So we can share those lessons with you to support implementation. We have hands-on capacity building through the Living Labs. So if you are a ministry, if you are a private agency, if you are even a WASH institute looking to transition, bring in CBE and CE concepts, we can provide hands-on training to you tied to one of the Living Labs for you to learn. The Living Labs will share their lessons to support your transition. We also develop knowledge products. We are interested in acceleration, startup support programs. We have a policy engagement. So last year, during the environmental sanitation policy revision, we were actively involved, making contributions to the policy. There's a research for development aspect, and there's a data and systems intelligence. So for instance, if you want to know what is happening in the circular economy space, circular bioeconomy especially space, you can rely on the hub because you have people who are implementing and are well vested in the area and can guide you with data and information. If you want to connect with the hub, we have our website. You can check it out. You can also scan this and subscribe to our newsletter. We have our Living Labs that you can scan and book a visit, or you can also send me an email to my email displayed here. Yes, so I'll end my presentation here and questions. Thank you very much.